There we go. What is happening, you Titans fans? We are back. The Titan Bros are doing our first preview of the regular season of the 2023 season, and we are excited. And yeah, we are excited. Now, hopefully, you got some great takes today, and you don't lift up the Jags too much, and you can just keep it Titans centric for the day. Nothing. Got nothing.
Jack don't play in the Titans game, so of course I'll be fine.
Yeah. Sadly, Jags are going to get an easy dub. They're going against the Colts, and I really don't think the Colts are going to win very many games. So sadly, even if we win, the Jags are going to be first in the division after Week 1 because they'll have not just a win, but an AFC win and a division win to start off the season. So after Week 1, the Jags will indeed be on top of the division, but Week 1 doesn't matter that much, right?
I mean, matters seeing there's only 17 games, but there'll be plenty of time to make up for it, you know?
Anyways, yeah, so it is Tennessee Titans versus the New Orleans Saints, and it'll be a fantastic matchup. I could see it being very much a slug it out kind of game. And yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into a deep dive. The very first thing that I'm seeing, whether you want to call it keys to success, matchups I'm keeping an eye on, whatever you want to call it, the number one thing I'm watching, which could easily be the biggest make it or break it thing, which would be the biggest reason I would say the Saints would win, is their defensive line versus our offensive line. Because that, of all position groups and on our team, that is the number one red flag, maybe? Because a lot of it's unknown.
Yeah, a lot of it's unknown, but it's still it's annoying to me because at the end of the last season, there's two things I'm like, we got to fix: wide receiver and offensive line, and our receiver is fixed in a way, but we're just one injury away from Brooks likes to get hurt, or Hopkins from us being a bad receiving core again. So that's not really fixed. And then the offensive line, I saw one place, Pro Football Focus, that had it projected at the 32nd, so the worst offensive line in the league. So we didn't fix stuff that we should have fixed, but here we are going into the season. But you're right, it's unknown. Maybe it might shock us, but I doubt it, but maybe will. And the Saints have a good pass rush, so this will be a good test.
I have no concerns with the middle three. I think Peter Skoronski is going to be just one of the best guards in the league.
And Brewer will be good.
8. I think Aaron Brewer, every single time he played center, he had a really good Pro Football Focus rating and
I think
things like that.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think he's going to be a better center than guard. Because
he was awful. He was awful last year at guard.
At center, you don't have as much those 300-pound people you have to be pushing every play, and as a guard, you got to have some weight to you, and he's just too small. Actually, a side note, I saw a picture, and it was like Week 1. It was almost a poster, and it had Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry. It had a couple other people, and I had this one guy. I literally didn't know who he was. I couldn't see his number. I'm like, who in the heck is this guy? Because he looked so thin. I looked him up. It was Andrew. I'm like, wait, that's our center? He looks like his face didn't even look big to me at all whatsoever. I'm like, I did not know who that guy was.
I think they lie about his weight on the Titans app or wherever you want to look at it as well, because he tells people he's 295 pounds. He ain't 295 pounds, maybe 270.
Yeah, he looked like he could have been a linebacker or something. I had no idea who he was.
Also, I remember our first year having him back when we had Roger Saffold, who was in and out his whole career with us. He was great when he was in, but he was in and out. And then suddenly this Aaron Brewer guy steps in and plays solid. But I remember thinking, that guy's tiny. I could tell by looking at him. I didn't know anything about him. I just saw him. I was like, oh, small man. Very small man. But anyways, I do think he'll be a lot better at center. Peter Skoronski is going to be our best lineman in general. And Daniel Brunskill, I'm not really overly worried about him. I trust him way more at guard than I do at tackle. But I ain't worried about Brunskill either. It's the tackles. The problem is the best pass rushers in this league come off the edge.
Yes, tackles are the most important.
Andre Dillard, big fat question mark. And then we have
Chris Hubbard.
Yeah, I forgot his name for a second. Chris Hubbard. Until NPF comes back.
The reason I remember Hubbard, because that's one of my keys and it's very similar to what you said. But I was reading something saying that they expect that Chris Hubbard's going to be taking most of the bulk against Cameron Jordan, who's one of the best defensive linemen, and so that's a key matchup to me. I gotta see him slow Cameron Jordan down. I don't know if you want to chip a tight end or run it back on that side, but to me, just looking at Hubbard versus Cameron Jordan, I just feel like Cameron Jordan should destroy him. So maybe we got to find a way to keep him off of Ryan Tannehill.
Hopefully, this is the year Cameron Jordan finally decides to slow down. Do you know how old he is?
33.
34. He did have last year 8.5 sacks still, but like he was 12.5 the year before that. And 4 years ago, he was 15.5. So it does look like his productivity's dipping. The only issue is when you have a veteran like that, like an old guy like that, they're fine at the beginning because
Also,
their body's still fresh. They can't last long in the season.
like Chandler Jones, remember when he got like 4 sacks on us, and I think he ended up only having like 5. He ended up only having like 7 or 8 sacks this season.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Or remember the year we had Cameron Wake? He was like 38 years old when we had him, and he had either a sack and a half or 2.5. I think it was 2.5 sacks in week 1. I don't think he had a single one the rest of the season.
Yeah,
so.
and not to mention, I don't know if Hubbard's the best tackle in the world, so it will be easier. So anyway, back my key though, you got to find a way to keep Cameron Jordan off of Ryan Tannehill, because that could be fumbles. It could be ways to easily lose this game.
I really wish we would have just gotten George Fant instead of Chris Hubbard, because George Fant only ended up making like it was even numbers, either 2 or 4 million. But that was before we cut Jamarco Jones, I believe. So we could have just used the money we saved cutting Jamarco Jones and giving it to George Fant. We would have been in the same situation than signing Chris Hubbard, but that fell through. So yeah, that's a scary matchup. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. The number one I want to see, I would not be surprised if D-Hop does not show out this game, because you got to remember Marshawn Lattimore is one of the best shutdown corners in the league. Best is a little dramatic, but top 10. And I feel like he's going to have to really use some craftiness of the route running to get away from him. So I feel like we're not going to get like a 10 catches, 120-yard game from D-Hop or anything like that. So I really feel like my key number 2, we got to unleash Treylon Burks. He's been a full participant in practice all week. So I'm going to say lock it in. He's going to play. Just a personal prediction.
Well, I would be angry if he wasn't, because of how many practices he's had fully participant. Like it was last week you were showing me practice, and then that was last week. So I'm like, he better be at the play.
Yeah, I don't know how much he practiced last week, though, because they didn't have to put out their first injury report of the season until Wednesday, I think. So we technically don't know if he was classified as limited or full, but he was full all week this week. So he looks fine. He looks fine to me. So I think Burks going against whoever their number 2 corner is going to be a matchup we have to win. Even if he only gets like 4 catches, if he gets some deep crossers or go routes like he was doing last year, or he can have only like 4 or 5 catches but give him 80, 90 yards out of it, soften up the defense as well. And of course, that makes it where our bread and butter Derrick Henry can eat. So that's the next one I got to do is we have to be able to stretch the field with Treylon Burks and hope for a big game from Burks, because this might not be the matchup for Hop to show up and show out.
Yeah, we need something from Burks or Hops, and I agree with you that Lattimore, I would take him over the Hopkins matchup personally. So we need something big from Burks, because I feel like the Saints have a pretty good run stop. So Derrick Henry and our offensive line's not great. I feel like he's going to have a hard time getting going. Like you said, I think Lattimore might shut Hopkins down. Who does that leave? All right, we need Chig or we need Burks to be a playmaker here. And it's that time for Burks to be that number 1. Man, we'll talk so much about this guy being a number 1 receiver without us knowing. So it's time for him to take the reins. Why not in week 1, go out there and get us some big gains? That would be huge.
If nothing else, that'll really help out DeAndre Hopkins as well, because then if suddenly they put their attention and time on D-Hop and then Burks shows out, then like next week the Chargers are like, so do we get the potential Hall of Fame wide receiver and DeAndre Hopkins to try to keep him in check, or do we get the guy who actually went off last week and Burks? And if we put a bunch of attention on both of them, that's when Derrick Henry's at his best. So yeah, we'll see. What they used to call it back when we had AJ Brown and Julio Jones. They pick your poison, what they always said. Obviously, picking of the poison didn't work out because a couple things. Derrick Henry only played in 8 games. 1, 2, Julio Jones's body was just done with football. bless his heart, failed him. And then A.J. Brown, he was in and out of the lineup as well because he only had 800 yards on that season. So stupid. But anyways, so that's my number 2 key slash thing I'm looking for. And the third one I think
I haven't said my second.
Go ahead. I didn't think you had any.
And this kind of good. I alluded to this a little bit with the last one about keeping Cameron Jordan off of Ryan Tannehill because that equals fumbles and stuff. But I'm going to need Ryan Tannehill to play a turnover-free game here because we both predict this is going to be a defensive game, and it's going to be, I think, hard for a team to go 90 yards just play by play because I think both defenses are better than the offenses they're going against. So what's a good thing to do? Get short field, get a pick, get a fumble, get something where you already start past the 50 so you don't have to go far to get a touchdown or you get field goals. That would be huge in this game. And, just the whole thing I'm always nervous that Ryan Tannehill has not played a snap, besides the ones he handed the ball off, which was dumb. But he hasn't thrown the ball. Yeah, he hasn't thrown a ball in a preseason game, so he might come out rusty. I know against the Giants we lost, but he didn't really turn it over, I don't think. So hopefully he doesn't do it this week. But I know with the Cardinals he did 2 years ago. He did really bad, actually. So hopefully this week, week 1, he won't be too rusty. But if nothing else, don't take any risks. Don't throw any picks. Don't fumble because that's going to cost us more in a game like this than a normal game.
Actually, I was going to say, Tannehill wasn't awful against the Cardinals. He threw a pick. His biggest issue was he kept fumbling.
Well,
I blame that mostly on good old Taylor Lewan, who just decided not to even attempt to block Chandler Jones. But if you remember correctly, there was all the sacks that were allowed, mostly from Lewan. But also, remember, for some reason, Julio Jones could not catch to save his life. Remember, he dropped like 3 or 4 balls in that first game.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's reliving the past. Last year, Tannehill did not throw any picks in week 1, but our offense kept stalling.
Yeah.
Especially remember when we were 13-0. Where as soon as they get on the field, they just go 3 and out, boom, punish the ball. And we got the ball, went all the way down the field, score a touchdown. They basically go 3 and out, boom, kick us the ball. We go all the way down the field. We stall a little bit, kick a field goal. All right, we're still 10-0. They just basically go 3 and out, maybe a first down, punish the ball. We go all the way down the field, kick a field goal. I'm just like, clearly we are way better than this team, but we just keep stalling. And then suddenly, they got a touchdown. And then there's like then we went 3 and out. And then there was the whole bomb to Sterling Shepard, and I'm like, and now they're back in the game just like that, So we'll see how it goes. And I would say the stalling could easily have to do with the fact that our stars don't really play in the preseason, but also at the same time everyone on our team is made of glass, so I'm scared to play starters in the preseason. But at the same time, you can't play scared. But anyways, we definitely need Tannehill to start fast and be turnover free because, like I said at the beginning of this video, I really, really, really feel like this is going to be a low scoring.
Yeah.
Smack them in the mouth from both sides of the ball on both teams kind of game. So I think the last thing I'm looking for is what I think will be our biggest strength of our team needs to come through for us here. I'm not scared of Michael Thomas. Chris Olave worries me a little bit. The running game, I'm not worried about at all with Alvin Kamara being out. So we got to make Derek Carr's first game as a Saint. We got to make him very uncomfortable early and often. So the thing I'm looking at and a key to victory, in my opinion, is our front 7, or you can just say our pass rushers, getting after Derek Carr. Because he's trying to get his first game with his new offense, new team, new teammates. If we can keep him from getting in any kind of a rhythm from just being in his face all day, that would be huge. That'd be huge. I'd love to see Harold Landry bend the edge there and get a sack. I'd love to see Arden Key, who he was full participant, but he was on the injury report with a calf.
I saw that, yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But thankfully, I think we're depth-wise way better because Rashad Weaver basically kind of started since Landry missed the whole year and Bud Dupree was mostly out, per usual. So we have Rashad Weaver. We have Brevin Gibson. Is that what his name is? I forget what that guy we got from the Bears' name is. And of course, Caleb Murphy. So I really like our pass rush depth. But of course, then in the middle, we'll need Tier Tart, Jeffrey Simmons, Danico Autry to, push the offensive line around. The problem is they have a pretty good offensive line, so that's a huge battle there in the trenches that we have to win if we want to win this game.
Yeah, mine was let's force the Saints to run the ball without Kamara. They don't have to start and running back, so let's force them to do that. And it's kind of similar. I mean, in the sense that I would like to see our cornerbacks. Michael Thomas is not what he used to be. Let's shut him down. Chris
Olave.
There you go. He's pretty decent, but can we shut him down? But we have a decent, Kevin Byard, Monty Hooker, Christian Fulton. What's the guy we got from Bucks? Bunte, whatever.
Sean Murphy Bunting.
Yeah, him. Now, let's hope those shut these two receivers down, and I think we can do decent at that. Force them to be constantly using the backup running back. Like you said, they have a decent offensive line. They do, but still, the running backs and I think we have a good run stop. We've done that for the last few years. We have Jeffrey Simmons out there. Let's force them to run the ball because I feel like if they do that, that's going to be favoring us. I think we'll be able to stop the run if our secondary can, if that's what they're forced to do because they can't throw. I think we'll be having the advantage with that matchup.
I would agree. Do not stack the box. I think we need to make sure we're shutting down these wide receivers. Jimmy Graham, I'm not really overly worried about him. I feel like he's one of the biggest names with the least amount of production. And he's like 35 or 36 now.
Yeah, he's old. He was great 10 years ago, but he's old now.
Yeah, he is tall though, 6'7". But so I'm not really worried about anybody. I'm not even really worried about Michael Thomas. I want to keep an eye on him, but he's 30 years old now and he hasn't had a good season since what, like 2018.
The only thing that scares me is he had a good week 1 last year, and then
not a whole lot of yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but I just feel like if they're trying to have to run the ball, I like our chances better. I like our run stop. We've always had a good run stop. So let's see if we can shut those receivers down.
Right. So I definitely trust my front 7 at stopping the run without a lot of help from the secondary, as opposed to the other way around. Like I would much rather do that as opposed to have a whole bunch of people to stop the run and then the cornerbacks like Sean Murphy Bunting and Christian Fulton to not have a whole lot of help. So that is definitely a good point. We got to do that. So there's my keys, and that was your keys. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So do you want to do any kind of official score / game prediction?
Yeah, I'll just say, what we think the predictions, score and who wins, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I have mine. You tell me when you have yours.
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead with yours because I'm
being week 1. I've thought about this for a long time since the schedule came out, and we haven't done much, and they haven't done much to change my mind. But I must say, because it's in New Orleans, I think we're both pretty evenly matched up. It's a pretty close game, but if you watch our last videos, I did take the Saints to win, and I will stick with that. And I honestly think it's so much because who's home. When you have a close matchup like this, if you're a betting person, the home teams usually get a +3 because it makes a difference. And so I think it's a pretty close matchup here, but I'm going to say Saints win 20-17, mostly because New Orleans is a tough place to play.
It's funny you should say that. Literally the exact same score I had, but Titans winning. Thought it's going to be late, 17-17, and we put her through the uprights. Get a field goal there. Go up 20-17. I've told you this one I'm really up in the air about, but I originally said Titans. So
if we go to New Orleans and get a win on the road, I'll be happy because we got some tough games coming along. We could get a win. Honestly, I think I might be halfway depressed if we lose this one. Now you could say, you're just 0-1. You got plenty of time to make up for it. But man, we got some tough teams coming up.
Chargers, Browns, Bengals, I think, are the next 3.
Yes. So
AFC as well.
We could go 0-4 if we lose this game. So this is a huge first game. So I hope you're right. Sadly, I'm taking Saints 2017, but I hope you're right.
I also hope I'm right, but this is 50-50. This is 50-50 in my opinion. So anyways, I guess that's all that I have. Is there anything else you want to say? Is that exciting? Titans are back?
Yep.
Kind of.
I am so excited.
At the time of the recording, it's Friday morning, so we still got a little bit of time to wait. But football is back, and that is exciting stuff.
Yep. We haven't won a regular season game since the Packers on Thursday night. So it's that time we get a win. And honestly, imagine if we lose this game. We could go 0-4. So we could lose our last 11 games if we lose this one.
Yeah,
because we lost the last.
Yeah,
7.
because technically the preseason doesn't matter. We're technically on a 7-game lose streak, so this would be lose number 8.
Yeah.
So let's avoid that at all costs.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I think this is one of those games that I don't care if we win ugly. There's some games like, man, you're supposed to win better than that. This is one of those games I think is gonna be ugly. If we just could get out there with a win, I'll take it. It's week 1. We didn't play our stars in preseason. If we win by 3 points and it's an ugly game, I'll take it. I don't know about you. We just need to get a win under our belts.
It's like that week 1 against the Broncos in 2020 where we beat them 16-14. I'll take it. It'll not be good for my heart condition. I don't have a heart condition, but it'll start one. But I'll take it.
That's Titan season for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that's all we got for you today. Make sure to look for a video of us to do a recap, hopefully a happy recap, because ever since I brought Josiah along on the channel, we haven't won a single game yet.
No.
I think Eagles, it was like the first one we did together, and that was during our 7-game lose streak. So maybe he's an ill omen. Maybe I should kick him off next week and me do it by myself and then preview the game and see if we can actually get a dub. Of course, then again, actually, I haven't previewed a game we've won either. Because I previewed the Giants game last year. We lost by myself. Previewed the Cardinals the year before that. Lost that. So we should just stop making videos, I think. But anyways, I guess that's all I got for you. Titan Bros signing out. I guess we'll talk to you later in the weekend, hopefully with a nice dub to talk about. So peace out.
See ya.